we are obviously not Greta Defeyter, but we discussed with her. Greta has had a sudden personal circumstances and cannot be here, which is, concerning. But we discussed with her and said, would you like that? Would it be okay with you? I was very keen that we would make sure that her work was presented here and was part of the mix of the different social science asks, different policy possibilities, since it's a really important one that we think is fantastic social science, fantastic research, but really, really practical. And having spoken to people over lunch, it's already, people are doing this already, so we think this is really important. So myself and Liz Todd and Sara Bryson, we've all both done work around free school meals and children's free school meals pupil premium, not Greta's work, but we're going to very, very quickly, we're not going to spend 10 minutes doing it. There are also other people we know, and I can staring straight at one of them, there are other people we know in the audience who know an awful lot about this as well, so it may be that there's other people that can answer some of the questions as us. But we're going to essentially just present much more quickly and not fully, and not really do the justice to Greta's full body of research and full body of presentations, but we will do our best as a double act. So the first thing is to set the context, and I think most of you will probably know this, but we're just going to set the context. As you know, children in school can get free school meals. At the moment, there's universal free school meals for certain ages, and that's a new thing. I'm not too sure exactly when that started. It's reception, but I think it's about the last year or so, maybe a bit longer than that. And but there's a whole swathe of children that don't get it, and there's also a whole swathe of ages that don't get it. Yes.
So I guess it's that there was some important research, some happened here in our region in Durham, where there was a trial of the impact of giving children free school meals. I always feel a bit like, do we need research to tell us the impact that it'll have if you give children whose income is low and make sure they get a meal in the day? Like, it doesn't seem like it needs research to me, but there we go, that's the way of the world. I was a child on free school meals, so I know exactly what life was like on free school meals. You can't concentrate in school, can you, if you're hungry? And increasingly the children that we're working with are incredibly hungry. When we did some deep listening in our communities about what would children do if they could change anything, they said they would do something about school food, which is why Liz and I have worked on it. Because if you're hungry, you can't concentrate, you can't do well in school, everything else falls apart. So there is obviously been some convincing done that this is important because children are given it from reception to year 2. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has introduced free school meals for all the children using a tax on businesses in London. We wouldn't probably generate that revenue in this region, but, it would be nice if we could. So Greta's research has been steeped in this place, in breakfast clubs, in studying with children deeply and beautifully, and hopefully you'll get to hear from Greta another time the impact of the research that she's found on how much this makes a difference to children's lives, their attendance in school, their performance in school as well. But ultimately for me, eating food is a fundamental human right. Like, I don't understand why this is contentious. But even children who are eligible for free school meals don't all get it, and that's the issue here. So your family might be eligible, and the eligibility is complicated. It's not even everybody on universal credit that gets it. It's complicated eligibility, and I've long known, because we've researched the pupil premium, which is something that goes along with people who are on free school meals. Schools get some money if you're eligible for free school meals and your school signs you up. You not only get free school meals, but your school gets some money quite a substantial amount of money every year for activities for you, for learning activities. But if your school can't sign you up, and there are various reasons why that doesn't happen, then children don't get the meals and they don't get the funding for the schools. And what Greta's careful work has shown is how many children are missing out. So it's eligible children are missing out, but also there are children who are not eligible, but whose families are on just as poor incomes, who aren't eligible but can't get it. So there's different kinds of aspects here. But her main ask here is, could we not just have automatic registration of children? So the ones who are eligible, through whatever sort of mechanism, and it'll be a benefits mechanism,
can they not be automatically registered so they automatically get these benefits? So I'm going to speak very briefly to this because I'm not going to try to do justice to what Greta was saying, but just to say that we are losing out in the north far more than places in the south, and Greta's actually calculated it. And that's the joy of some of her work, is calculating the actual amounts that we miss out on. The amounts that the school misses out on, the amounts that the children's families, the amounts that children miss out themselves, but the income, it's a massive amount of income to the northeast that's missed out. And if we did have automatic registration, this is what we'd get. So she's calculated that auto-enrollment for means-tested free school meals would bring approximately an additional 23 million per annum to the northeast. That's quite a substantial thing for anybody who's doing any kind of economic costs in any of the different authorities around about. And I think, if I'm right in saying that Cumbria has found a workaround, has been working with the DWP, is that right? And that other authorities around here are trying to look into this. And there are some clear steps here that she's set out as to what we need to do, what kinds of things we need to do in order to make it happen. Adopt auto-enrollment for free school meals, restore the means-tested free school meal eligibility threshold to all in receipt of universal credit. So actually think carefully, because not everybody on universal credit is getting it, but actually restore that. Roll it out across primary and secondary schools, increase funding provided per meal to ensure quality of meals and quantity. And that is something that we've looked at, Sara and I and others in the room. That give universal meal provision to all, and more broadly, introduce a child poverty income maintenance action plan, which apparently the Welsh Government has got.